mean? They living there. So it's that facade.
Yeah, man. They could have. He's from Carolina. Some Carolina bike.
Clinton?
Yeah, he's from North Carolina.
Okay.
I did a Google. It's a lot of entertainers that's from North Carolina, but nobody never. I don't know. Nobody never really rep it. It's
Really?
weird. I mean, you know.
Matter of fact, let me see. Name someone. If you name it, think about it. If I'm trying to think about it, I can't. But who's from?
I think Jeezy. I think he's from South Carolina. I think Jermaine Dupri might be originally born in North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. What's that shit? What's that shit with the 3 white guys and the 4 white guys and they go to Vegas and get drunk and shit and get high before the wedding?
Hangover.
Remember the little Asian dude?
Yeah.
He from North Carolina.
Where?
Jack Black, the white comedian, he from North Carolina.
Okay, there's Ray. We get Ray in here.
I'm trying to think who else for NC.
A second, let me straighten this out. Boom, boom. Where's it at? Right one. Hold on.
V, we gotta get on the stream yard, son.
I already see.
You see, because I be watching Sarnetta, and Sarnetta be having like 9-10 people on the screen when they be, you know, they conscious debates. I like that.
We live.
Okay.
What's up, Ray?
Hey, y'all.
Ray, what up?
What's up? How y'all feeling today?
Feeling powerful over here.
Yes, yeah, I'm feeling good.
Same. What y'all was over there talking about?
Everything already.
In this life.
Thanks.
And let me see. Let me look at something. But yeah, y'all go ahead and kick it off here.
What happened?
No, I'm saying y'all can kick it off.
Oh yeah. So, like I said, I don't know what y'all was talking about, but my question is, what is the Office Boys and how did y'all come to be?
Get right to it. I like that.
Go ahead, V. You can take the lead, V.
Simply put, I'm Villa Dawn, by the way. Nice to meet you, Queen.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah. Office Boys came out of the necessity of the artists, me, Villa Dawn, evolving and hungry, and Smiz The MoneyKid and all the already running there hungry. And we both are part of the group Ghetto Men. So we still are the 4-man group, but we went from a 4-man, a square, to the duo that is us. Just out of, you know, they slowed down or life called them, and we continued the mission. We carried on, and that's what forged it. Little do we know we was always like we started making music together. It was already cultivating it, but it came to be after me and Smiz just started mashing out as artists. I can't even tell you what year because
I don't know the year, but it's that year of I'm grinding and smell the roses.
That's what led it.
Because it started like I was pushing a single and V was pushing a single. And it's like, yo, son, I might as well push your joint with mine. You know what I mean? You might as well push my joint with yours. And it's like, son, I got you in my office, son. Like, okay, like we got 2 different offices. Don't forget, you was in school at the time.
Yeah.
Your wife was pregnant.
Yeah.
I didn't have no phone. I was on some phone when he was on some computer.
Yeah, we had one Mac. Shout out to Apollonia. That was what I called my Mac. You know what I mean? So that's how we emerged, just in the shareness, and like we was mentioning earlier, P, the will, not just saying, okay, this is the structure, this is how things work, but me and the brother just forging together and making things happen, willing things and seeing things to happen. And that's the real true essence of Office Boys and why, if you ask me.
You can't skip over school either, because I let them know that I had went to school. So you can't forget that part.
Of course, Full Sail alumni. Shout out to Full Sail alumni. At the same time, my brother mentioning, you know, my wife pregnant, we doing music and all, I was going to school. So I obtained my bachelor's in business entertainment. So again, salute to my moms because she always was in my ear about it, but it wasn't so much about the accreditation. It's really like I've been doing this. So why not elevate in some things I might not know? Why not go learn them and then can apply that and evolve myself more?
Right.
That's what going to school and being a student of Full Sail was about for me. So shout out to Full Sail.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what's up.
I'm about to say hand clap.
I know that's right.
Hey.
You don't hear a lot of school support, right? Like nobody talks about the benefits of school, like what you can, you know what I mean? Striving to do something, going to school for those specific things, and then applying the knowledge to your gift. Nobody talks about that, but that's how you become a master at something. You know what I mean? You learn the technical side and apply it to the God-given gift side, and you invincible. I think.
Right. I agree with you.
That's with anything, right? If my father, if I used to work on cars with my father as a kid, then it makes sense for me to go to college for mechanics, because now I know the hood version and I know the technical side, so I got everything covered when it comes to knowing cars, how to do it, the shortcuts, the technical way, the corporate way, the hood way. I don't know, man. I'm a big advocate of school. I definitely am. As far as educating yourself to better yourself, not just going to school for 4 years, getting out, and then working at McDonald's,
Right?
Having to pay back millions of student loans. Like, nah, I'm not with that part.
Right.
For sure.
You gotta use it as a tool to sharpen your tool.
Yeah,
That's
some people find school discouraging because like it's not always 100% guaranteed that once you get that degree and whatever field that you major in, you'll get a job in that field. But people are like, I don't know if I want to go to school and all this extra stuff. But when it comes to education, I'm like, it's necessary because you never know like what you can learn, who you can meet while you on campus or online, whatever the case may be. Because you might not have people around you that been to school. You might be the first person who was high school graduate, college graduate, things like that. Because I'm myself debating if I want to go back to school. I just don't know when. But I'm debating if I want to go back or not. But I'm most likely going to go back.
Let me give you this jewel, right? So my mother started going to school and she quit, right? She went back to school after 20 years, graduated, became a PE teacher, and now she's retired. You know what I mean? So that gave me inspiration to like, I was starting school and I quit and then went back after 10 years. I'm like, what if my mother never had the will to go back? You know what I mean? She went back after 20 years of not finishing school just to then pursue her career and retire. You know what I mean? That was inspirational to me because that let me know age wasn't the issue. It was the willpower and the determination to better yourself.
No, for sure.
Yeah, so go to do it. Look, don't let doubt slow you down.
I'm not letting nothing slow me down. Never.
Okay.
But I got my associates. But when I did, I got like in liberal arts, so I was just like taking different classes that was interesting to me. But if and when I go back, I'm gonna get my bachelor's in communication. Yeah. Because I know I'll be able to do a lot with that. Even though I'm kind of already doing what I want to do now, but just to further my education. Because my whole goal after I graduated high school was to get my bachelor's. So it's like, since I got my associates, I kind of feel not as successful as I would want to just because I don't have that. But I'm going to go back. I just don't know when.
This is having or getting the experience as well. All right.
Exactly.
I miss being on a 4-year campus.
Me too. That's the case.
if I could offer this though, I kind of had the same perspective, and I had to switch it going in because, say you going to school, you get out, and you looking at the job industry. I took the approach. I was already involved in it, so I'm gonna apply that to the entrepreneurship role. I'm not gonna wait so much to get a job or be on somebody's list or do an internship after what I invested. So my game plan became more calculated to, okay, I already have the pub code. I already have this. So the media company with my brother. So how do I excel these things? And it also gave me the juice to kind of build new systems where we start building merchandiser companies. We Office Boys and Why, we started a radio program. We had our own radio programming show where, we could wait and submit to other radio stations and get jobs and all that. But sometimes it don't take that. It take you to put the shovel in the dirt and dig and start building your foundation, which can lead to your empire if that's the goal. But it's not built for everybody, but for those that give it that shot, you taking that investment, invest in yourself, go that far.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. I don't know when though. I'm still debating on what kind of school I want to go to. Cause I really am aiming to go to an HBCU, but I know like those schools are underfunded.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know like how much I'll be able to get in scholarships and stuff like that, but I'm still deciding.
Music. One thing about it, they're giving away a lot of music scholarships. That's be the key. You have music and sports, but since you in that, the music thing, music scholarships is the way to go. But I don't know if then you may have to play an instrument or something. Because that's how I went to it. I went to Alcorn State University. I went to a music scholarship.
Oh wow!
I played horns, baritone, and tuba.
Okay. Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah, played Jackson State. That was our #1 rival. So half my classmates went to Jackson State, the other half went to Alcorn. Seems like.
Wow. So you know how to read music then?
Yeah.
Oh, gangster. That's dope.
Yeah. See, at the different aspect, we just talked about several different revenue streams. This how me and my brother think. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because we did learn that. Remember in school they told us there's 40+ ways to make money off of one song, and sheet music is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My little sister doesn't know how to play the piano, but she taught herself how to play by buying Alicia Keys' Diary of a Mad Woman? Was that the name of her first album? I think
so.
But it came with like it came in like a book of sheet music. They for every song. And because she was an Alicia Keys fan, that's how she was teaching herself to play piano. But again, another revenue stream.
Right.
You feel me? It was a book. I was like, okay. I'm like, damn, I want to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Put our songs into book form with the sheet music. So, yeah.
Because bands, especially HBC, they play modern music. If you ever been to one of those battles, band battles or whatever.
Yes, sir.
Playing the newest music
today. I'm down south. We the college here is ECSU, Elizabeth City State University. So, the band is a big thing. That it brings the whole city out. Especially homecoming times when they have the parades through the city and the bands march through the city playing your favorite song, man. That's an encouragement to make the young kids want to go to school just to be a part of that electricity.
You can feel it in your skin when they coming by, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Remember them days, man.
Yeah. So
for real.
Okay.
Oh, so how do y'all balance each other out? Like based off of what you guys do individually, when you collectively come together, how is that playing field?
I know for me, first I always respect and remember we men first. You know what I mean? And brothers is what connected. So that keep it real and all of that, like you never know your brother or whoever, you claim that to be. So we beyond alphabets. Our bond has built action. It's actions as to that keep us balanced. I know who he is. He know who I am. We don't stun about that. And if he say, yo, I'm gonna mess up the money, you handle something, or if he trusts me to do certain things and I trust him to do certain things. And I think not only in the brotherhood, but a business relationship, you need that transparency. You need to kind of communicate when you both frustrated and still have the respect to still communicate. You build powerful things out of that because, we don't allow no BS to tarnish what y'all building as partners and as brothers. So I think we keep the balance by when he need to be the ultimate as he already is. I'm not the neutralizer, but I make sure the atmosphere is always where it need to be for him to do what he need to do as a brother. And I know he do the same for me.
And this right here's a testament, because it went from me doing an interview with y'all to me getting on the phone with my brother like, yo, son, yo, you got to do an interview. Like, I love the vibe. It's a dope vibration, son. Like, yo, I'm going to plug you in. I don't know how. And then I hit P up like, yo, P, can I plug my brother in? Got on the phone with Ray. Like, Ray, I'm going to do this 3-way call with V. Got V on the line. And now we here. You know, that's the balance. You know, it's no selfishness. It's like, if I got an opportunity, let me bring my brother in, because I know it could benefit him, you know what I mean, in his own way. Like, I don't do what he do and he don't do what I do, but we do the same thing because it's all for the same cause. I want to help make sure his kids are fed. You know what I mean? I'm sure he want to help make sure my lights stay on. You know what I mean? His mother considered me a son. My mother considered him a son. So it's like, anything I do, I'm doing it with the mindset of this could benefit me, and I think my brother could take advantage of it too. Because if not, I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, I don't know, son. You know what I mean? Be like, what you think? I'd be like, what you think about it? You'd be like, yo, let me sit down with it. Then we come together, like, yo, let's take a chance on it. So,
and I gotta add for everybody that got that dude they call a brother or whatever, which the balance comes in my opinion how it was with us. You gotta really respect who and understand people grow and evolve. And when you know, like, don't just say you broke, be the action of it. Like you said, I could pull up to his house and he not there, and mama go and make sure I'm right and my kids right too as well. It's not just we talking for the gram. When we speak, we mean it. We real careful with our alphabets because we know the value of that. And that's what kind of bonds and keep that tight as well.
Okay. Do me a favor. Give the listeners a good rundown of what the office, of what all you all do, and what services you provide.
Hey, I leave. And wherever, correct me when I'm wrong, brother.
I got you.
Again, this Villa Dome and the Office Boys, and the first thing we like to do is the first business I say or service is administration or artist independence awareness. And when I say that, I mean introducing people or artists that call themselves independent, how to register their records, how to actually get copyrights, how to actually understand what royalty is and how it's distributed through those things. So it's not just listening to your record, it's showing you the business of it enough to know that whether you work with us or not, you can move forth and continue your career knowing what you do as an artist. Another thing is branding. We big on helping the artist or a client understand what it is their market is, who their market is, what their branding message is. If they don't have one, we help them create one. Because that's really, a lot of artists don't see themselves as that. And it's very key that when you do see that module of yourself as an artist, you open up so many other windows. Outside of that, of course, the social promotion, engagement. We really push engagement, not just bot stuff. We show you how to organically build the audience. And I could go on, but those are the general basic things that we do. Outside of radio promotion, we build a lot of bridges. We like the bridge builders.
Okay.
Don't forget, we do contract negotiations, because we can write contracts and read contracts. So holler at us before you go see your lawyer. We cheaper than the lawyer. At the same time, though, come to us, we break down the contract for you, then go see your lawyer.
Facts.
And see if your lawyer tell you the truth or not.
And not to add on, before you come to us or anybody, look at it. It's on the ink on the paper. You feel me?
Right, read.
It ain't gonna make your eyes bleed. And again, if you don't understand it, some things we teach ourselves, or we catch a lot of habits, get in the habits of some of those things. It could that's what leads to wealth. That's what's richness.
Yeah, those are good habits. Those are good habits.
Right.
Yeah, I read all agreements. I mean, even at the if I go to the doctor with my mom and they give us some papers to sign, they like, everything all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm reading what you having my people sign. Like, I want to be aware of what's happening. Like, I'm not just, and that's the problem though with people. It's not just music, it's business in total. People they get frustrated with reading. And I come from a reading family. My mother was a teacher, so like education was very fundamental in my household. Like, you couldn't be dumb. It wasn't cool to be stupid. You know what I mean? It wasn't not in the area I grew up at. No dummies the girls didn't like dummies when I grew up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. It just education was always first for me. So we try to apply that to the business and educate the artists. And our techniques is not just for music. It's for not just the independent artist, but the entrepreneur. Because I feel like business is business. No matter what it is you're doing business with. You know what I mean? Whether it's a small business, a large business, or corporation, no different. We have the will to succeed, though. That's the thing. And I don't get frustrated.
If I could give you an example, Pete, and you know what I mean, Quinn, like example, one of our clients, Salute to Tango Bango, he not only a Brazilian artist, but we also brought to him the merchandising mechanism of how to further reach his audience and get connected, not just with his homeland, but with here, because he in Charlotte right now. And also he's doing reaching into spirits right now, like his own, not under somebody else, but he's learning the entrepreneurial steps and already taking those steps. So we support not just artists in the music light, but again, stepping into the other ways. I like to call it the gremlin effect. If nobody remember that movie where you poured the water on them or they ate after that and they multiply, that's how we like to use the metaphor for business and how entrepreneurs should look at things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Shout out to Tango.
Critical. Yeah.
Yeah. I like how y'all operating over there. No, for sure. Because you don't get like a lot of, because out here where I'm from, where we from, well, no, he ain't from here, but where I'm from, like,
where y'all from?
I'm from Chicago. He from Mississippi.
Oh, I'm originally from Mississippi, but I was raised in Chicago most of my life.
Oh, the sippy. Oh, the cricket letter. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because most people out here, like, they gatekeep a lot, and they're not really for, like, helping one another come up. So, like, when one person make it out, it's like, yeah, we ain't coming back to help nobody else. Like, y'all got to figure it out on your own. And everybody hate, I don't want to say everybody, but majority of everybody hate everybody out here. And it's like, for what? Like, we all got the same skin color, whether if it's dark or lighter. We all come from the same background, but we don't want to help each other. For what, though?
I think it comes from not enough love around you, not enough love and support. You know what I mean? You got to have enough encouragement. You know, I grew up in the era where uncles, aunts, people around your environment took a interest in how you developed. So in that eliminates gatekeeping. You know, oh, let me help you out, young brother. You know what? You're very good at that. You ever thought about going to school? I know somebody over. You know what? Let me connect you with Miss Such and Such. Maybe she could. Let me get you with this guidance counselor. You know, let me recommend you for this job. Maybe, you know, let me get you over here interning. Let me get you over here volunteering. Maybe it's something that can help you in your endeavors. So me growing up like that is like, yo, again, it doesn't take away from me to provide any help towards someone else, because who knows how that'll benefit me. You know what I'm saying? And here go an example. Shout out to my sis Tammy and my brother Black District. They had a radio show called Poetic Design Radio. And they reached out to me because they saw me grinding on social media with the music. I did an interview with them. After my interview, I set up an interview with Villa, set up an interview with my brother Bang Out. Then after that, we became like family. Then we met some other young ladies that was into doing books and things. Shout out to Arthur Untamed, LaDonna. And fast forward, a lot of them turn their books into independent movies. You know what I mean? And who did they reach out to? The Office, like, yo, bro, we need music. You know what I mean? So we came full circle where we provided help for you. Now, years later, you coming back and saying, oh, bro, I need music. We provide music. Now the music's in the movie. You know what I mean? It's just a network of what I could do to help you. Let me do it. Because the universe is going to repay you. That's how I feel. What you put out comes back.
Let me ask you this, man. Like as you were saying, it sounds like you and I pretty much came up in the same era. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's like I would say there seems to be a lot of more broken homes today. Right? Would you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you think was one of the main things that drove that into existence? Politics. Besides the politics, we know the politics is definitely there, but besides the politics.
Okay, so you would consider the destruction of the black family as politics?
Well, it has some politics in it, definitely.
Right.
Definitely. But I guess I mean I guess it really boils down to it's all political in this.
It's all political, right? Because if it's my job if I make it hard for the black man to get a job, therefore there's conflict within the home with the mother or the wife or the girlfriend. So now she has to work extra long in order to take care of the family. So now she's at odds with her boyfriend or husband or baby daddy, and now the kids are left in care of someone else. I.e., now you have a broken home. The husband not working, the wife is working 2 jobs, and the kid is spending a lot of time by himself. The home is destroyed. I never seen my grandmother work. Whether she did or not, I don't know. But I never seen my grandmother with an actual job. But my grandfather always came home and made sure the lights was on, food was on the table. I don't know if my grandfather was a fucking womanizer. I know when he died, there was a man that came to the funeral that was older than all my aunts and uncles. So I know that, you know what I mean? He did what he did, but I couldn't tell because there was a certain structure in the home where what happens in your home stays in your home. So whether he might have had some infidelity, there wasn't something she put out on the street. So growing up in that environment, I learned to say, well, if I got internal problems with my family, then let me keep it internal.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of, because that'll break up a home too. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these, like for my generation, I had friends that had 2 girls pregnant at the same time in high school. So I'm saying to myself, you 16 with no job, no hustle, you got 2 girls pregnant. How are you gonna? How is that? I'm trying to figure out how do you set up a great life for your kids when you still a kid yourself, right? So okay, so then maybe you might not even be in love with the girl that you got pregnant. You might just been having sex, and now that you got a baby, you mad because she making you step up your responsibilities. Now all of a sudden, she mad at you because you can't you can't help take care of the child. You don't want to fuck with her because she putting pressure on you, and now your child feel like his daddy don't want him. That's a broken home because you grew up with no fatherly love, so you don't know how to treat a woman.
Right.
So now,
as well as a lot of our brothers are getting caught up in these streets. So it's a lot of us doing time. And of course, that's gonna break the home automatically. You know,
yes,
the home automatically.
I'm in an area where niggas make more money hustling on the street than a job. You know what I mean? So it's like I knew people who went to college just to be able to get the room and board funding because they stayed off campus, and they took that money that came in for room and board, and they used that to advance themselves. They didn't even go to school for the education, simply for the revenue stream. You know what I mean? So it's like these are the examples you showing your kids, though. So if there's no father in the home, then these young men have no example of how to be a man. Better yet, be a father. But I'm sure V can give another perspective because I don't have kids. I'm just speaking from someone who was raised by a man who wasn't my father. You know what I mean? My real father was a man of the city. He was the land and city inspector. He was the guy you go to. You want to build a home, open a business. On the flip side, my step pops was a kingpin, but he took care of me. My father, who had the legit job, ain't do shit for me. So I would just look at the balance of how my biological father, rest in peace to him, didn't do shit for me, but a man who wasn't my biological father did everything for me. You know what I mean? So I'm speaking from that perspective, and I'm sure V could give you another perspective as being a father at 19.
That's a beautiful segue. I mean, to add to that, mom's just totally gorilla when it comes to the thought of fatherhood, because of not only my experiences, me being a father of 3 and taking that job very seriously. Fatherhood has allowed me to not only become the man I aspire to be, it showed me something that I didn't know existed. And this is not no father sitcom talk. Smiz could attest, each and every one of my children, like, I've been there, I've seen them come into the world. I'm fortunate to say it's a joke with me and my clique. I'm like the George Jefferson and I'm amongst me and moms, because I've been with my lady for going on like, 27 years. I've been
get it right.
That's right there. Yeah.
You better get it right. Better get it right.
When we talking about family structures and we talking about the politics and all that, I could do more than share conversation, because it's just even a battle in that being together. It's anti whatever they want it to be, because how rich it offers us. Grandpa, they get the grandma, they get to expand when the family is beautiful. The aunties, the uncles, the richness, that the energy it gives us. Not only that, the kids, because it take a village. Some of these parents burnt out because they in parenting alone. Like you said, P, the moral compass has gone. A little kid can't walk down the block and be protected. Now they preyed on. You know what I mean? So it's the family structure has not only crumbled in most cases, it's fell into other forces of society. And I'm just proud to say, and praises due, every day I fight and I build to make sure that I remain that, not only for my family, but for my community.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You too, man. Yeah.
Nigga got fat fingers, man. Yeah, that's what's up. What you got, Ray?
I was just gonna touch on like the whole family thing. Like, it's very unfortunate that most kids have to grow up with just one parent, because when they do, they're able to have like 2 perspectives on life, like from the woman's point of view and from the man's point of view, which, like when women have sons, they sometimes, may get discouraged because like, they can't teach them how to be a man. And to some extent that may be true, because like just depending on like the environment that she grew up in or whatever male figures that she had in her life, she could try to implement certain things or just put that child around, those male figures who were either a father figure to her or who was her father. Because some people have fathers and some people have dads, like it's a difference between the two. You feel me? So it's unfortunate that majority of the children grow up like that, but we just need like more examples of like what a tight-knit family is, because even some families aren't close together like that no more. Like, and it's sad. They don't give no love to one another. They dislike each other, and it's like I don't get it. Like, and what I came to realize, like the older I get, is like I love my family. You feel me? But what I realized is that I feel like outside, which is like the water aspect, the blood versus water thing, it's like more love comes from outside of the family, and even outside of the family, they become your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, even in what you're saying, that no plug intended, but this is why I'm making an effort to make fatherhood a bigger conversation, because when we having these conversations, speaking about a father don't denounce a mother. It actually puts a mother in a higher position. We need to be supporting our women that's raising our kids, and vice versa. We the enemy complex and all of that. Once we start to rid that, we can start to bring those things back. And I can't say that they don't exist, but like you just spoke to, they don't forecast and show that. They don't show those images to us and our kids. And that's where we have to and have been start controlling more the narrative that speak to that and speaking to some of these experiences, whether they do books, whether they do movies, whether they do music, any form way that we can control that narrative so that truth is spoken and kids can see those examples. It's not just our duty, it's our creative. We wasting our gifts if we not kind of applying some of that to that, making that structure big, not being afraid to say you proud of your family, that you a father, that you a husband, that you a little brother, a son, because you are. You are.
Yeah. And P, let's talk about the politics a little bit. I was sitting here thinking, right? You remember growing up, watching TV, and you talking about family structure, whether it was white families or black families. There was a mother and a father, there was grandparents.
The family model, yes.
Yes, there was a family model. So when you looked at it, even if you didn't have a big family, you said, I want a brother, I want a sister, I want a family. Now when you look at TV, it's what is it? It's art imitating life. Like there is no family structure. Or if it is, there is a convoluted family structure. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's very negative. There's a mother and father in the home, but they're fighting all the time. You know what I mean? And the kids don't get the attention. And whether it's true or not, the kids see this in the entertainment. And so it doesn't help. The kids start to feel unloved. Where's the love? It's like parents don't. I've never seen a time where parents didn't give a fuck about their kids. That shit is weird to me.
Yeah.
What? Fuck your kid? What? I don't care what happens to you. That's weird.
What I feel like was just about the perfect model of a family, just generally speaking, was, to me, I felt it was Good Times. We have a black family, mother and father home, projects. You know what I mean?
Right. Going through it, figuring it out.
And they always dealt with various issues, family issues, life issues throughout it. Michael was in the gang, JJ got shot.
Right. Let's talk about it. Look, Florida ain't had no job, right? Florida didn't work. The daddy had a little bullshit job. JJ had a gift, but he was in the ghetto. Michael was militant. Thelma was the only girl, but she wasn't a hoe.
Facts.
You know what I mean? She married eBay. She has you with eBay, and what's homeboy name that JJ broke his leg? he fucked out the football contract.
Oh man, that was a terrible episode.
What's his name? Light skinned brother, man.
He used to do the impressions and all that. I know
Thelma married him. The only thing I didn't like about it is they never made it out the hood. They never gave us resolve. It's like we never saw them finally make it out of the projects. They talked about it, and I think Valona had got an apartment in another building after James died and all that, but it's like they never made it. They never made it out. So you take Good Times, right, and then you flip over to
the Brady Bunch or some shit, or
8 is Enough. The Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Yes, 8 is Enough. Father Knows Best. Some of these things are before my time, but I was one that when my mother and parents put on TV for me to watch, it was wholesome TV. Yeah, look, Little House on the Prairie.
I didn't that damn show.
I didn't like Little House on the I wasn't a fan of Little House on the Prairie, but I saw the movie. Y'all ever seen the movie?
Nah, I seen the show before, but I ain't seen the movie.
The movie in the movie, they get land and they have a home, but it's like they're at war with the Indians, and the Indians are killing quote unquote white men, and they're trying to figure out why the Indians so savage. And then the family realized that the land that they bought from the government was stolen from the Indians.
Exactly.
And they wind up leaving that area and moving, finding a little house on the prairie. And that's kind of where the show took off at. But watching the movie gave me a different perspective of why they ended up there and just how society plagued our minds with the Indian was the savage and the bad guy. You know what I mean? Cowboys and Indian. Nobody wanted to be the Indian. We play Cowboys and Indians. Everybody wanted to be the Cowboy. Again, TV though. So I'm just looking at how some things was wholesome, and then other things you had to use your discernment. And it boiled down to your parents saying, you know, this TV, right? Like, this is not real life. Like,
right.
Don't think what Theo did in motherfucking the Cosby Show, you come home and do here. Like, I'm not Heathcliff Huxtable. I'll knock your head off. Like, we ain't going through this.
But even and what you mentioned, and let's go a little deeper and look at who was behind those pens, though. Who was crafting them stories. And some of the shows y'all mentioning, they had some excellent writers that at that time wasn't afraid to tackle those for the truth it was. Then you had some of the great actors like James Evans that stuck to his guns and didn't want to convey, you know, like they molded the script to be what it was we saw. You know what I mean? So now you don't really have too much of that, or any executive or maybe writers that write in that light. It's about bread. It's about what the audience want and all of that. And when you cater to those things, you kind of lose that moral compass, right? And that's not something they want to push to the markets unless it's money there.
Exactly. That's what they wanted. They want to push the negativity. Push the negativity, and
it sells.
Crazy part. Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, it sells.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't understand it. I just don't understand.
It's the American way.
It's
the American way.
I believe we forget the power we hold as the consumer of these things, and not only of the consumers, sometimes as the creators. Because again, in getting that deal, we'll have a beautiful script, something that might mean something, and because we want to get that money, they chop it down and it don't offer no substance to the people. So again, and then we get caught up and watch it. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff is at a point where how do we expect people to acknowledge our culture in a different light when we've been portrayed and let them portray us in all lights that may not or reflect a small portion of us.
Yep.
Yeah. Because how y'all feel about, what y'all think about Philip Drummond?
Philip Drummond? Of course, I love the show still.
Right.
And I guess when I was probably really watching it, I didn't think much of it.
Right. We didn't judge that he was a white man, right? We was happy that they had a father, somebody looking out for them.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, maybe because I don't know. I seen it. I don't know, when you seeing some kid, I guess you see some kids or know some kids that like displaced, they don't have that family. They may be in a false home or all that. I kind of seen it at that different end. I thought Phil Drummond was all right. You know what I mean? He might have did it. He wasn't running for office or nothing. You know what I mean? So he took care of Arnold and Willis. You feel me? So
right. Yeah. That's crazy.
Word.
But it also goes into the music. What's so bad right now is how heavy it is in the music. You know, I don't take nothing from the younger generation and their music and their talents and everything, but it's like all the negativity is what's putting them on. So everybody wants to just do whatever it is just to get on.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because it's easier that way for them.
I agree. But it used to be a point where we cared a little bit about the culture, not because it's like, it's suitable to us, but just like with basketball or tennis, we don't we offer some respect to them greats, so we should do the same with music. And it's like you said, I don't hate on the youngins at all, but they kind of far from removed from what the foundation was. And I think if you know what this was built in and reasons why it was built, you just seeing that power and adding what you added to it. It might just be a lot more polished. And I think if we do a better job at bridging the gap, we might see a lot more younger ones being a lot more courageous and being them original selves and presenting that in their works.
And they will not get a record deal.
Yeah,
because don't forget that the labels have stopped in these prisons, and they sign these young niggas to these contracts and to get life insurance on them. So they encourage them to wild out because we give you $1 million advance. You go to prison, nigga. We recoup right off of you. We eat off of you while you're in prison. You kill each other. We got life insurance. They get back their advance, and they eating off the residuals while your family mourning, trying to figure out how to bury you.
And I feel that exact sentiment you're saying, right? And with us knowing, you know where I'll go with it. With us knowing that, we now apply that. You understand what I'm saying? Like now put the structures to put a label to know that everybody, you got a clique of 30 people, put all of them to work. You feel what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't put yourself in the position, stop of, again, relinquishing the power. You already have that power there. So, of course, it's the glitz and the glamour, but when you really think about it and do the knowledge of it, you know, one thing I respect about, and I hope the young G's, the young queens hear me, I respect y'all intelligence. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, very wise.
I respect their intelligence. They know how to do things and they assert themselves and they feel us in ways that, again, like our generations are proceeding. But when they got it to know and they get that one where they really focus in that power, it'll be that thing. They won't really care for that. And I think it's there already. I think it's there just a tad bit. Just a tad bit.
And I think that's why we here though. They need examples. You feel me? Like I couldn't talk if I had a record deal, it would be hard for me to speak towards what is right and what is wrong but you know, the power to be independent, already knowing knowledge yourself, though. I think it starts with that. You got to know and love yourself and know what you are and where you come from in order to not fall for the pitfalls of what they're going to give you. Because they're going to, it's the carrot with the rabbit syndrome. They're going to dangle the money, the women, the lifestyle in your face. And what young person don't, okay. Look at the correlation. We talked about the broken home, right? Mm-hmm. Now look at the correlation of the entertainment that gives you something where you think helps you escape the broken home. You
still have that mentality though because you haven't known anything else. Yeah,
right. And
that's a point. That's a point, and that's a contributing factor. I won't never say that. You know, I just love to push the empowerment that like. Being positive and being empowered is not seeing the negative side. You know what I mean? It's just not acknowledging it and starting to put us on to, yo, we see that. How we navigate and start really putting action items and not changing people's perspective, but maybe showing them something that could do it in its own right.
No, for sure. That's like part of the reason why we started like the whole talk show portion of this, because nobody like has role models like y'all or like just examples even like on TV or like in music or anything like that as of how they should be as individuals. And like you mentioned, like you got to know yourself before anything, because if you don't, you will fall into that pit of being like everybody else, and now you just another copy and paste, and now they looking at you like, all right, we got another one, you know. And the direction like of how our people was set in the beginning, it's like a lot of those people are still taking those paths because, like Bill said, that's all they know. Like that negativity is all they know. And the more that people continuously push that in their face, it's like, okay, well, I'm never getting out of here because ain't nothing else on the other side for me. But it's like, if they take interest in it or anything like that, like they gotta look back on like the times of slavery. Like yes, we were enslaved people, and to a certain extent, we still are enslaved, but that's a whole nother story. But even those, those people still found ways to get out of slavery mentally and physically, like the odds were stacked against us. We got people like Harriet Tubman, we got people like Malcolm X, Dr. MLK, like Dick Gregory. We got all these people who paved the way for, for us to follow them and be like them, because they, even though, we had like tough times, but they still had hope and they still believe in our people. Like we can make a change if we all just band together. And if we free one person mentally, we can get another one. Then we can get another one. And then if we keep this pattern continuing, we can make another movement. But people, not a lot of people is taking heed to that though.
You know, the one thing all those people got in common, that this is going to sound political and spiritual, but it was God.
That's the key.
It was God. And I'm not talking about the God in the sky. I'm not talking about no mystical. I'm talking about the God that's inside you, that when you look in the mirror, you can see the God light in your eyes. Have you ever cut yourself and look at your body heal itself up? You ever see the little hairs come out your like that's magical shit.
So that power.
They got to be God. What else can it be? Come on, son. That's a magical. And to have that though, how can you been defeated when you know that you are the ultimate creation that can heal it? Like you an avatar. I say that. I say, I control my own avatar, which means I won't allow my mind and my brain to tell my body what to do. I believe there are levels of the mental, and you have to know how to navigate those, because the brain will take you the wrong way. And if you're too deep inside your mind can be corrupted by what you see and what you feel.
You hear,
But for years I've been telling myself, because they be like, your mind is the powerhouse, is the battery for everything. But like my whole thing is like my body takes over my mind. So whatever my mind is saying to me, it could be negative, positive, whatever case may be. Especially like if it's negative, my body's gonna overpower that at all times, because I don't want to stay in a rut, which I can never do, because I hate being stagnant. You know what I mean? So it's like my body just got to keep moving and doing something, because if it just sit that brain, not for me, but some people, their brains just keep taking over them, and it's like they have nowhere else to go.
If I could offer you this, salute to my brother Wappo. We use this phrase called vortex. Create your own vortex, right? Because like P mentioned, it's negative influences everywhere, right? If you got your homie that's in your house eating the mama sandwiches and all that, he add to the negativity, and you just have other people doing that. You have to start also knowing how to cultivate your atmosphere. Get you in moments where your body, you come home, you feel a little bit relieved or whatever, and that'll spawn more creativity and things like that. Again, I'm not just speaking this because we're speaking it like preachers. These are steps that, we ourselves done learn. And once you know how to cultivate your environment, to suit your goals, and not only your goals, your sanity. Let's talk about our sanity, because that's the number one module you need to be that excellent artist, or to be that person, or to be all these people that life may require of you. And some people melt down because they don't have these communications. They don't have the resources to talk, whether it's through a blog, a friend, a family member, all that. So we just take it. But if we take some time to cultivate ourselves, knowledge and self and others, that's when we begin that road to see how we could really navigate our mind and connect our spirit and our body where it's moving in one accord. That's important. That a lot of us are detached. You know what I mean? It's not due to our own fault. It's a lot of vices and things going on to So it becomes a practice, just like we were talking earlier, right, P, about the habits. We don't notice it's a developed thing, but it could happen in business. You know what I mean? The same way. We wild out for the money, take that same passion and do that for something business.
For sure.
You know what's crazy, V? I'm gonna tell y'all a little story in reference to what you said, V. Now, I remember, shout out to Arlene. I remember going with you and Arlene to the city when at a time where they were shutting down bootlegs and knockoffs.
Yeah.
And the only thing that Africans could sell was like incense, oils, and books. And to go around with Villa and Arlene to all of these hubs and selling the books wholesale to these Africans, at the end of the day was like, yo, son, y'all selling this shit like crack. Like this shit is like it's the same motto, but it's legal. I'm like, yo, you can take the same identity and apply it to anything. But they don't. The drug dealer can be successful on the corner, but he don't know how to diversify and put that into something else. It's like they forget that the knowledge is the knowledge. It doesn't matter where you apply it to. But apply it to something that can better yourself. It's easy. It's easy to make the money. It's what you're gonna do with it when you. What you're gonna do when you get it though. They never have the out. They never have the out plan. No. You know what I mean? Nobody never has that. Again. And I always use this reference because my pops had a clothing store named after me. It was called Levon's Attire. So how the fuck I can't grow up and be into fashion? Like I was kind of born into it, right? Okay, granted, he sold weed. He did what he did. I never saw him with a job. All I knew was life was great. I saw him being an entrepreneur. As a kid, I didn't know that he was doing wrong. But I was there when the police ran in the house. So I was like 12, 13 when they locked my pops up. You know what I mean? So I was able to see both sides of it. I saw the beneficial side, which I thought was beneficial, but I also saw the negative side because they took everything. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to be like him, but I never want to be like him. I took the hustle ethic, but I wanted to become wiser and have a different approach to what I'm gonna do with the hustle versus just having the hustle. So you know what I mean? They gotta have that hustle mentality in business and life, which even with school. I was a hustler in school. You know what, man? I got to put in work on these books. You know what I mean? Like let me get my shit together. An hour to play, hour to do my work before I go outside. Nah, fuck that. Let me get this reading in real quick. That way, my mother see me doing good. She might let me stay up a little extra 30 minutes to catch fucking Night Rider or whatever the fuck coming on, Friday night videos, whatever. Those are little
Michael Knight.
Right. Look at Michael Knight. You be like, yo, Michael Knight was a hustler. Was he not? And they had smart cars. Was Kit not a smart car?
The first smart car.
Right. Right. The first smart car. Look at George Jetson. They had what? They was on FaceTime back then, right? They was on. They doing what we doing now.
Microwaves, all that.
Him and Spacely Sprocket, they was on the screen doing exactly what we doing now, right? But as kids, we didn't see it as the future. But we need those people like examples again. Where are the examples for today's society? I want to ask the panel. Can y'all name any examples for today?
That's on the regular. Let's see.
No.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything.
Would Ben Crump be an example?
Ben Crump?
Yeah.
That's
my answer. That's the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if I said Martin Luther King, people say, yeah, you know. Malcolm X, yeah. Harriet Tubman, like you said, yeah. There's certain things, what? Bill Cosby was an example at one time. But you see how they tainted him?
If I could build to that, I think, again, this going the conversation of, I believe they exist. To name them maybe not as publicizing, I don't want to say commercialized, but as well known as it was. Because we got to look at the real list of those leaders that used to be here and why they not here. You know what I mean? And not escape that skin exists for those that's amongst us that do.
Yeah.
Are we really protecting our people? Look how we losing our people. You know what I mean? In certain regards. So exactly, it's like we have those amongst us, I believe. But for them to come forth and maybe the way they executing and doing their things might be the most suitable way for the movement to move until we as a people could not just place that one person, because every time all of us as a collective, especially the kids, once we start positioning them, and then we able to bring more of those to the light where we could spit them off like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you say, Smiz, like the whole Little House on the Prairie thing.
Mm-hmm.
What the government do? The government stole the land
From the Indians
and sold it and sold it.
and sold it, and then had the people who bought the land trying to kill the Indians, saying that you in violation, calling them the savages.
Exactly. And what's crazy is, do you see any parallel to what's going on today?
It's the American way.
Right.
It is though. I mean,
that's it on the money. That is on the money.
Think about what. Okay, I read a book called it's called the what the fuck is the book is called The Secret Destinies of America.
Mm-hmm.
And it talks about Plato and Aristotle and them going to Egypt, studying the science of Egypt, and then taking it back to Greece and Europe, and explaining, and the people looking at them as the elite, and then taking that knowledge and force feeding it to the people in order to corrupt the people and misguide the people. And now, you know, you have people believing in false hopes. It's all the American dream, right? Because it's all about money, right? Well, I can't say about money, it's about power.
Mm-hmm.
And now money is power, right? So they use what? The powerful tools. They use radio, they use TV, they use newspapers, they use people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because what are some of our I can't even think of no political leaders that can't be bought. I'm not mad at Obama. People loved Obama, but I wasn't a fan of trying to make my little niece go in the same bathroom as my little nephew.
Right.
Thanks.
Obama was black, but he voted I know in the state of North Carolina, they was trying to defund the school system in Carolina because Carolina wasn't with gendered fluid bathrooms. And I'm not homophobic at all, but I don't want my little niece or my little nephew being confused as to as to what they are. You know what I mean? And that's political, right? I think that's all political. Let's go back to the destruction of the family again. Right? So it all becomes political at the end of the day, right?
The day it is, yep.
Slavery was political, was it not? Was slavery not political?
Oh yeah.
Did not the Democrats fight to keep slavery going? And the only way for blacks and those from the South that fought with the North, that was how they won a lot of their freedom.
And votes and states was deciding. You're right.
And it wasn't actually about the slavery itself. It was about the South being able to build up their economy for free while the North get nothing.
You know, because you're from the cricket letter, so you already know. Yeah. You know, it's weird. Shout out to my brother P. Bombay, man. I remember him bringing him to Carolina, and for him to actually see real cotton growing on the side of the road, the shit fucked him up. I said, yeah, this is the real cotton. This is the same shit our ancestors was picking. Yeah, because where I'm at, I'm near the Dismal Swamp, where Harriet Tubman helped bring a lot of slaves through the Dismal Swamp to making their way up north to freedom. And you know the whole thing about the Dismal Swamp was, it's swampy area, so the slave masters nor the dogs would had the willpower to go through the swamp because of the snakes and whatever else was in the swampy areas. That was the way they made it through the Dismal Swamp to make it up north. So
some of the houses are still up here. Like they got them in museums where I'm at, upstate. They got their museums because them getting over to Canada. So some of them made they stop over here.
And I think if you could take the kids of today and take them back to the past and show them that, and then bring them all the way up to today, they would have more pride in themselves and say, you know what? Maybe I can do things a little different. Maybe I got more power than I thought I had. Because it was they killed millions of slaves, but it's still millions of us.
Now, what do you think about people saying that black people, we just still using it as an excuse?
We using slavery as an excuse?
Correct.
An excuse for what?
For me, you know what I'm saying to me, but they say our savagery, why we living, you know, why we're basically on the bottom of the totem pole right now when it comes to race relations. Why is the black person, you know?
Yeah.
All I'm gonna say to that first is before they even think about me giving them an answer to that, they need to respect and appreciate the resilience our people has shown in going through some of them things, in showing graciousness, in turning the other cheek and all of that. Because if not, this story will be being told in a whole different
way,
other manner. You know what I mean? So that's what would be my answer to that. Examine and respect that first before I have to prove to you that if you even begin to examine not just what the pain and everything they exhibit, look at psychologically and social how it has spread, and it's still if you in some parts of the country and places still to today, it's like it's nothing. Like, come on, some things can't be forgiven or forgotten in us moving forward in that lesson. So you have to acknowledge that, because some of the very things you talking about was built off the backs of that very thing. So how we not acknowledge that?
So let me I'm gonna offer this two perspectives. It's gonna be very non-politically correct, and I'm sure a lot of people. This is the balance between me and V, because V, I'm radical. I'm gonna say the shit that maybe I shouldn't say. You know what I mean? But it's like, fuck it. What the fuck, right? So, one thing I know is that this is gonna be very unpopular, and I'm gonna say this with respectfully. After evaluating slavery and paying attention to shit, the slavery was a business, and we were just property. We was no different than the cows, the horses, the pigs, and that's how they carried it. It was the slave master had no emotion involved as far as this was business. Nigga, you there to make babies so we can make more field hands, nigga. And you're gonna pay me for this, nigga. And I'm gonna buy that nigga because he's healthy and we can make more babies that make more workers for free labor. There was no emotion involved. So coming up out of that, my thing is coming up out of slavery and being forced to be self-reliant and self-sufficient and to be an entrepreneur, coming up out of slavery, having to build your mud huts and build your home. Then comes integration. Once you integrate, now you leave your home, you leave your education, you leave your business, and now you want to integrate because you want to prove to another people that you are equal when you was already equal but separate. And I think that had a long-lasting effect on why we can't get back to where we was. You know what I mean? Because I'm going sovereign. Me, I'm with the solar panels and the water filtration and the farm and being self-sufficient, not relying on the system. Some people can't do that though. I'm okay, maybe because
that's what I want to do. Shit.
I was being raised down south. You know what I mean? Around, I had to feed fucking chickens and shit. I hated this shit. I get it now. That shit was a major chore. Bro. You know what I mean? Go feed the chickens, pick the fucking cabbage and shit. I don't want to do that shit.
Bro, I know exactly what you're talking about. Because like I say, like I was born in Mississippi, right? Moved to Chicago when I was probably 6 months old. Went back to Mississippi by the time I was maybe 8, 9 years old. And then that's when I got a chance to experience that type of living. You know what I'm saying? My folks, they built their own house, no water, no bathroom. Me at 8 years old, I had to empty shit buckets. Had to chop wood. 8 years old, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it traumatized me for a while, you know what I'm saying? But now, as an older person, I look back at it now, I appreciate it. I appreciate it more because they were more self-sustained.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They hit their own hogs in their head, cut bring a chicken neck, bring in the eggs. We had all types of fruit trees out there. It was definitely something different. It was definitely something different. And
my grandmother used to pluck the feathers, and and stuff them in fucking pillowcases. That's how she made the pillows. You know what I mean? Like real goose feathers and putting together fabric, sewing it up to create a pillow. That's self-sufficient.
Real
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's self-sufficient. But now these days, what? Like these kids are sew. What the fuck? These talking about what is a sewing machine? Right? But again, we have it's I think it's part of my job to educate them to but to stay this way though, to keep my hoodie on my shades and talk my shit so I can say I look like you, but I'm not ignorant as how they perceive. Like I'm here to teach you that you don't have to change how you look in order to stay intelligent. Like educate yourself and learn how to be self-sufficient so that you don't have to be reliant on the system because they will take it away from you.
Oh yeah.
Everything you think you got, they will take it away from you.
They'll find a way.
What? Yeah, man. Wow.
It's a powerful conversation.
Love it.
I love it.
Yeah, right.
I
Gotta be that.
Definitely, because I'm a huge, even though I'm young, I'm like a huge advocate of like taking the kids back to where it all started, where it all came from, how we became like this, like how entrepreneurs of our people came to be. Like I had to, because my family from down south, they're from New Orleans, so I went out there for like Thanksgiving, maybe like 2-3 years ago, and me and my grandmother and like my uncle and like a few of my cousins, we went to one of the plantations, and because like down there they got sugar canes, so it was a sugar plantation. So just being able like to see the church they had there, the places that they slept in, how they slept, what the beds looked like. They even still like the bowls where they, put all the sugar cane and stuff in. And it had like a monument, not even a monument. It was like, I can't remember the tribe of these people or what their names was, but it's a memorial, and it's like at least 12 to 15 different heads of males that escaped. But I think it was like either 4 or 3 of them that was like the leaders. And what they did was when they caught them, they beheaded them. And when they did that, they put their heads on the stick to show the other slaves, like, if you try to leave, this is what's going to happen to you.
Fear.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and fear is a big factor as of like why people are still like mentally enslaved, because, like.
I died a few times.
Yeah.
I died a few times back then. I had arguments with the old heads. They was like, man, I said, if I lived back that time, I would have died, came back, died again. Like, I'm just a radical, man. Like, I can't help it. It's just a part of who I am. I'm one of those. I'm one of those Malcolms. I'm one of those that don't mind speaking truth to power and are not afraid of the consequences. I understand who I am and what I am, and I always take it back to the spiritual, because I was raised in the church, and I take it back to Isaiah 6:8. God said, "Who shall I send? Send me." I'm one of them. I'm one. You know why? Because what I do is an example. My brother, his sons, his daughter can look to me when they're in danger, and in time to say, you know what? I know I could go to Uncle Smiz, and he's gonna point me in the right direction. He's gonna protect me. He's gonna make sure I'm good. We need that. We don't. All my uncles wasn't shit. My uncles was alcoholics and drug addicts and begged for money. I loved them, but they was no examples for me because they didn't ever do shit with their lives. What the fuck did they do? You know what I mean? Like the uncles, I supposed to be able to go to my uncles like, yo, uncle, I need help. I'm not the nephew. I don't supposed to be giving you gas money and helping you pay your fucking phone bill, which I didn't mind, but I'm just saying the structure of how where shit started to change. We are those uncles though. We are them people.
That's factual.
Am I lying, V?
No, that's fact. I was just helping we do that. I'm helping with homework. If I'm in the crib, I'm with Apartment in the Throne. We facilitating them things. But I mean, I will offer, when we say an example, it's not like you getting a script. You just being your ultimate you, and by you doing that, you inspiring, or you showing, or at least letting it be seen that, yo, it's people out here striving, it's men out here striving, it's young women out here striving. It is people who I could connect with and build to fight against these things, to stand strong. And I know that when I talk powerful and I turn my back, people are still there. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what was one of the most disappointing things? What's his name? The black quarterback that basically got forced out of the league because he was
Kaepernick.
Kaepernick.
Yeah.
That whole situation kind of disappointed me, but it wasn't surprising because I felt like if the entire NFL would have stood up, all the professional players that were signed and protested with that man, I believe we could have had a better outcome. But like you say, everybody's like, yo, shit, I gotta feed my kids. You know what I'm saying? I fuck this up for myself if I do that and look out for him. You know, how do we get around that type of shit today?
It's hard. All right, look, take what you said, right? Take what you said. Now let's go back to 400 years ago. With the one slave that's fed up and getting beat. What about the other 50 slaves that's watching him instead of jumping the slave master? To me, it's the same mentality, right? But in my world, again, I always take it back to the spiritual because that was my foundation. They say that a third of the angels sided with Lucifer against God, right? So I expect motherfuckers not to have your back. You feel me? And if you know anything about the 5% in Islam, they say 85% of the world are followers. So if 85% of the world are followers, then I can't expect the NFL to stand up and to sacrifice their well-being for the next man when they won't even stand up for themselves. The powers that be know that they can buy power. Money buys power or buys silence. And I think of Kaepernick, don't forget Kaepernick was mixed. I think if he didn't have the afro and didn't act so, political, he might have had a chance. But he was more fight the power than powerless. And I think they didn't like that because he looked like them, but he didn't act like them.
Right. You hear what Jerry Jones said, right? Jerry Jones told him, he said, I wish a motherfucker would. You got that keep going. And hey,
welcome to America.
Did nobody move?
P, I think you said some important alphabets. Why are we to be surprised when these are not institutions and structures that were suitable? That's another. They say that's another state. What the brothers they get down to their scabies. They they sizing them up. So again, when we start getting out of that thing, like you said, we acknowledging that we're not surprised. We know certain things to expect. I think at a certain point we're gonna start maneuvering in a way that matters, not just in marching and doing that, but a certain policies and a certain economics in certain ways where again we not scared because we eating from the hand that feed us type thing.
I think if Kaepernick would have started like a boycott with the people, like, hey, fuck the NFL, we not watching that shit. It wouldn't even matter what the players did because if niggas ain't watching it, how you gonna pay them? Right? Like we had a part to play in it too, though. We still watched the football game, even though Kaepernick wasn't in it. We still was on it.
Football, ain't that so?
Right. I mean, I'm not a big advocate of football, but I saw Kendrick. I saw what Kendrick did. What y'all think about what Kendrick did at the Super Bowl?
Man, I loved it.
I think it would have been dope if he could have brought Kaepernick out.
Yeah, that would have.
That would have really been dope.
That would have been crazy.
But again, the powers that be wouldn't have had that. You see what I'm saying? Like, so he had to be sneaky with because I've had debates with people that said they didn't really like it because they felt like the powers that be was playing in our face with the imagery, and I'm like, I didn't see that. I saw the sneakiness and sneaking things in right in front of your face, where if you ain't king, you not picking up on the sign.
Pick up on
Right.
And most of the world is, I ain't gonna say they slow.
No, you're right. They are
over a lot of them's head, and that's what it is.
Yeah, you could be educated and slow at the same time.
I seen the display of hip hop, man. You know what I mean? Word up. I seen the display of hip hop. Word up.
And he tried to go political because I saw Samuel with the Django vibration. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna deduct one. He's like, oh no, okay, I get it.
But like you said, when we can sneak them jabs in there, or blatantly smack them in the face like they be smacking us in the face.
Yeah.
Why not take that?
Come on, let's keep it 100, man. All the educated scholars, that the world look up to, knows where the origin of man began. They all admit it. So if they can admit it and know where the origin of man comes from, what's wrong with the original man? How he don't acknowledge who he is? If the powers that be are telling you where they get their power from, where they learn the power. Again, it goes back to knowing who you are, right? Knowing yourself. And then it go back to your family, right? Because if my mother didn't instill in me what type of boy or man I was, if she didn't tell me about the God in me as a kid, I wouldn't grow up with it on me now, though. So I got to shout out to my mom for this being one that, like, you know what, I'm going to try my best to save my son from an early age, teaching him about himself. So when he's able, because you have to teach kids to think. Kids don't know how to think anymore. Thinking is an art.
Everything
you have to learn
like this.
You have to learn how to think. Yeah. Just because you have to learn, you have to teach yourself how to think properly.
Think and reason.
Yes. Yes. And discernment. You got to know how to discern and make it wise decisions. You know what? Them niggas be robbing stores when they go in there. Now, I ain't fucking with them. Because I already know when they go in that store, they gonna stick that shit up. Like, nah, son. Yo, I'll wait outside. All right, you wait outside. You come on, I'm gone, nigga. Tell me about it. You get back to the hood. What? Wow.
Back. Shit.
Yeah, like crazy. I was never a follower. So again, kids are followers these days.
Right.
How about you, V?
Never that. And really, because for me, early on, I'm the oldest amongst mine. So the ideology was whatever's happened to me is going to trickle down anyway. You know what I mean? So no, I was not Eddie Winslow by all means. Like I was not the sitcom Big Brother, but I stood on my morals and principles in the environment I grew up in. Salute to my moms who, like you mentioned earlier, Queen, for some women, and I speak to this too, it's not about raising your son to be the type of man you want him to be. It's just allowing and nurturing the man that he wants to be or become. And that's what my mom allowed me to do. She allowed me to nurture and be that young man, to become that young man. So following, for one, my family didn't cultivate that. We wasn't having it. And for two, that wasn't my style.
No, for sure.
I mean, look at some of these things we talking about. Even when we not fortunate enough to have the two households and things of this nature, at some point, you know, we don't have church or we don't have somebody that's cultivating these morals. You're going to become the example one way because you're going to be a parent maybe one day. And for whatever you didn't learn or whatever, you now have the opportunity and choice to, you know, be that better person or, you know, show them how to do the things that you wasn't, or show them what not to do that society is coaching them and advising them to do.
No, for sure. The world gonna hate my kids. They gonna love them, but they gonna hate them for sure.
Salute to my kids. My kids is most powerful. You know what I mean? Because again, and Smiz could attest to is when soon as they even in the belly, there's no goo gaga. It's none of that. You understand what I'm saying? Is respecting their intelligence and their power too. Communicate with them and tell them, Santa Claus, what? It's me, it is I, and it's that woman over there. Like, let's remove. I'm not gonna allow you to grow up in illusions. That's to keep you from your true self. And now we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that.
You know what? I gotta send you. I'm sorry. I gotta send y'all that song, Dead Sea Scrolls, because what you just said, V, you said something about it in that song about the I done embodied the ideology of Santa Claus or something like that, right? Yeah.
Because again, look at the examples, like you said. Some of us only had James Evans at the time. Was some of the other? There's very few dads I could, you know, refer to. But when we took those examples, or we had the uncle, or whatever, we took it and extend is circled on it. Somebody had that dope uncle. I had one that gave me infinity jewels. we be gatekeepers, not just in the music industry, we be gatekeepers in our family. Like, I'm gonna keep this riches and jewels to myself, and you coming around, you the only person shining instead of feeding the family. You know what I mean? Or at least giving them the tools so they know how to fish. I don't gotta keep giving you the fish, but at least I can show you how to whip that fishing pole.
Have any one of you all ever read Pale White Horse?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. That's in my library.
Yes, most definitely. Interesting book, right? A lot of what he was talking about is fact.
But what's the name of it?
Pale White Horse.
Okay, babe.
I got it if you want to borrow it.
Yep. Say less.
And if we paying close attention, some of it is right in front of us, right, Pete? Some of it is right in front of us, right now. Breathing. But some people got other shades on, and it's okay. Like, all of us is not to see that. But I think what I'm learning, and I think all of us may have learned, is that we have to continue to be who God instilled and the Spirit instilled us to be. That's what's the most important. Because whether people absorbing or they building the way we may want them to, the important thing is to do that, because we never know what we're gonna spawn in anyone.
Yeah.
Do the little hand clap thing.
I know that's right.
All right.
You are special. People don't know they special. You know what I mean? People don't understand the uniqueness. You're the only one with your fingerprints. You're the only one with your uniqueness. That's what makes you special. Like, you're one of one. So be that. You're one of one. I can't be you. It's God has given you a gift that only you are perfect at, but you have to figure that out yourself. I can't find that out for you.
You know what? If I can, I want to take the opportunity to salute my brother Smiz, and salute all my brothers who encourage me, because they tell me don't play with your power.
Nah, don't play with it, big.
And this is one thing, to be in a circle around people who like, oh nah, he won't do too much. They helping you, or you being your best self is helping them be their best self. You know what I mean? So salute to anybody who around the team that got the people that really care. You know what I mean? Really cultivating your families together and building that business right. You know what I mean?
And I want to go back to Smiz touched a lot on like the spiritual aspect of everything. Like, I myself, I know that God is in me for sure, because I would not be operating the way I operate today. You feel me? If it wasn't. And like a lot of things that I've been praying for, I definitely implement, like asking to like surround me with like-minded people, surround me with people who are walking within a purpose that you gave them, you know, because I know I got a purpose in this world, but if I'm surrounded by people who don't know their purpose, or who don't know like they powerful, or they have gifts and they have talents, but when you have these gifts and talents, you have to utilize it in order to be of service to other people. You just can't keep that to yourself. And so me working towards that actively, and then even praying about that, like now, like my circle is I'm surrounded by these people that I'm moving like that. You feel me? And even if they're not physically around me, like I'm having conversations with people like y'all about stuff like this, because like
praises due. Let's give it up.
Let's
More
hand clap. And you know what, Ray? Let me offer you this, Ray, too. Because I had to do this. Sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone. Like, I spent a lot of time in the library. At first, it was just to escape the hood. It was like on my hustle shit. It was like, oh, I'm hustling. Let me go to the library. But I taught myself how to use computers. And that's why I came over the term computer thug. But in that, you meet other like-minded people that are a tad bit different than what you're used to, but may offer something extraordinary to your life that's like, oh, shit. You know what? I've been coming here for 3 weeks, and it was simply just to hear that. That was the message. God wanted to see how long I was going to come before I got the message. Now that I got it, now it's my job to take that message and run with it. So you definitely on the right path, because you already know you tapped into your desires already. But again, don't forget, they're going to be the closest ones to you. Like, girl, I don't know about that, girl. You sure? they gonna always be this girl. I don't know if I like the way that sound, or you sure? Why you gonna get him to do it? Are you sure you can trust him? They have you second guessing yourself. Like it's gonna happen.
This the thing though. I don't even be listening to those people.
Right.
They don't even exist in my world.
I know that's right. Yeah, more hand claps. Yeah.
Word up.
Yes. Yeah, I hate the negative. I mean, you know what? I hear it. This shit is draining to me. Yo, man, you know that streaming don't really pay, man. I don't know why y'all listen. It don't pay you because you ain't figure out how to like everything will pay you if you figure it out. What you want to sell? Books? You want to sell incense, swag? Right now, we selling intelligence. Right now, we are selling strength to anybody that listens. It's not literally for sale, but I say selling because it's like I have to put forth an effort. When you're selling, you have to put your best foot forward, right? To entice the people you want to gravitate to it. It's the same thing in life for me. You know what I mean? I love this square that we have here right now. Just 2 weeks ago, you know what I mean? This wasn't here 2 weeks ago. We didn't know each other 2 weeks ago. Now look, now I feel like we family.
For sure.
And they in the shop. We got some family in the shop too. We gotta pop up to the shop, V.
Yeah, shout out my man JB. JB, you gonna be out there, V.
Check it out, this bitch.
I want to ask y'all. Matter of fact, let me ask y'all too, as being natives of the shop. This is kind of political. I know y'all are familiar with Dick Gregory, right? And I heard Dick Gregory say that he felt like the government and the police was putting guns in the hoods so that the young ones could have guns and kill each other, so that they could do a lot of organ donating. So that these young guys die, that they take their organs and do all of that shit. Like, do y'all think that do y'all believe that? Or because I don't know why Chicago is quote unquote what you know what? Let me ask, is Chicago that bad as the way society portrays it? Like that? Oh my God, it is?
Yeah, bro. Hey, go ahead, Ray.
I mean, like, cause my ear don't really beat to the streets like that, but I mean, to a certain extent, it kind of is. But I really feel like all the negativity just happens like within circles of people, you know, cause like they do. People don't refer to it now as that, as people call Chicago like Chirac, to try to compare it to Iraq, you know. But I mean, in a way, it's not as bad as people think it is. But you know, if you dive a little bit deeper into like different circles of people, then
yeah, for the most part, I would say it is that bad, but most of it is not just random shit.
Right.
Most of it is not random shit that's going on. You know, it's been brewing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So for the most part, it is wild though. It's crazy, but most of it's not random.
But ain't that every hood where there's poverty?
Yeah.
Any area where there's poverty and no job opportunities, there's gonna be violence.
Yeah.
In law breaking. That's why I asked, because I'm like, Chicago, I get it, but you know how society try to make it seem it's so much worse than where I'm at. When I know somebody just got killed last night, you know what I mean? I know these little niggas running around with guns bigger than their bodies. Like, how they getting these big ass guns with these switches on it? Like, where the fuck y'all niggas ain't even old enough to even fucking drive? Where y'all getting these guns from? Like, it gotta be political.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Chicago can't be no different. Cause Brownsville, I was born in Brownsville. You could attest. Brownsville is it's like Chicago or anywhere else where there's impoverished people and no opportunities, but it's no jobs, but they give you all the negative shit. It's drugs, their guns, and what else you need to destroy a community? Drugs and guns, right?
Liquor spots,
drugs, guns, alcohol. Yes, all negatives.
And people living on top of each other, basically.
People living project. Wasn't the first projects in Chicago?
I don't know about the first projects, but yeah, there was plenty of them. Ida B. Wells, Pretty Green, all of those.
If I ain't mistaken, I think the structure of the project might have started in Chicago and then it moved to other states, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because if I'm not, because I kind of think or heard that they did it as an experiment.
Right.
Did an experiment with mice, if I'm not mistaken. Putting them, putting a lot of housing them in a particular area and then overcrowding it and putting a little food out there. And they just notice at some point they're gonna start killing each other over the resources and food.
Yeah.
Politics again. It's all political, Pete. You can't get away from the politics.
You're right. And then on our end, man, our last 3-4 governors all went to jail. Just crooked all together. Our most recent governor, he's the only one who ain't been to jail yet.
Wow.
Stay in long enough, they might find some on his ass too.
Probably.
How did y'all navigate through though? How did y'all navigate? Like, what was it that kept y'all away from? I can't say away, because, like, yeah, how were y'all able to navigate around all of that? Was it school? Was it family?
You go first, Ray.
I mean, I was never like, I can't really say I was affected by it as much, because my mother, like, we moved to like so many different neighborhoods. Like I've never stayed in one place for more than a year or two, or maybe 3, something like that. So I moved up, mainly like we stayed on the south side, like the south to like the southeast side of Chicago. So, like we stayed in like decent neighborhoods and stuff like that. But even still, like when it came to like the streets, like I was never like the person who was always outside. And if I was, it was always with family. And I was just like in the house. Like I just be chilling by myself, So yeah, I stayed out the way a lot. But my mother, she held it down for sure.
Okay.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. And for me, man, I'm not gonna lie. This music kept me out the street so much, brother.
Hand claps for that. Music saved my life.
Yes, because I've always been in the middle of the thickets, the gang banging, you know what I'm saying, family, friends, all of that. But man, once I learned how to play that baritone, brother, it just changed my whole life, because music have always been a focus. So instead of being in the streets as much, I come out, you know what I'm saying, pop out, sell some bags, you know what I'm saying, studio, you know, dip to the studio, and that kept me out the streets so much. And then again, I got married young. Got married when I was 22, 23. And so, I had a family I had to take care of early.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
Me, you know what I'm saying? Pretty grounded.
Talk about it. Yeah, talk about it. And I used to be mad at them rappers, man. LL Cool J, KRS-One. I was fans, but who knew they was married? Maybe if they told us they was married, we might have viewed women differently growing up in hip hop. You know what I mean? Because all we saw was the video vixen, but we didn't know ladies love Cool J, but we didn't know he had a wife at home.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Show us that so we could grow up. We was idolizing you. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. That's just my perspective. Like,
you got that's a credit, yeah.
Huh?
KRS-One told us though that he was, and his wife Miss Melody.
You know what? And you know what was funny? They don't celebrate Miss Melody. I don't know how she died, why she died. They don't celebrate her birthday. You don't. It's
heard much of anything.
Yeah, it's very weird, man. Again, it gets political. Because once you get in that music industry and you start to becoming a platinum selling artist, like you definitely have responsibilities to the powers that be. Yeah, so I don't know. I was a fan. I was a BDP fan, definitely.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, and me being from the South, the East Coast, the New York rappers, those were my favorites. And some of y'all might not know, I even worked for Paris Smith of VPMB for a short time, engineering.
Okay.
I lived out there in Long Island for a couple of years.
Okay.
Under the station. So
EPMD is one of my faves, man. So salute to y'all efforts. You heard me?
my guys, man, love them.
Word up.
Who was some of those guys out of Chicago though that we might never heard of back then?
Back then,
yeah, you know how you have the those in your area that's nice, but may have never got that national recognition, but was the shit in Chicago.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to think if I may have heard of them, just didn't know who they were.
All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna say the Hair Shrinkers. Well, I'm gonna say the Hair Shrinkers is one. Now that was a whole crew of guys, basically, but I was part of that crew.
Okay. The Hair Shrinkers.
Like the early 90s, we had a spot on 99th State. It was just my man's crib, well, my man's grandmother's crib, and we used to always just be in the basement rhyming. And from there, you know, we was battling every day, all
okay.
You know what I'm saying? All day smoking. I'm talking about 40 blunts a day. This is all we're doing. But it had gotten so popular that Kanye West came down before. This was before Kanye was actually spitting, though. He was probably just starting or something, you know what I'm saying, wearing the backpack. You know what I mean? Kanye was down there. We had Craig Mack came down.
Wow.
Came down. Some guys from Wu-Tang Killer Bees came down. They came to Chicago, did a concert. They came down, fuck with us. But we had D.A. Smart. D.A. Smart was raw.
Okay.
It was some guys from the Ill State Assassins.
That sounds familiar.
Can't quite remember their individual names. One of them, I think he might be he tried to run for mayor last year. I can't think of his name off the top, but it was some cats out here, man, and shit. My memory just ain't that good.
I remember Twister. Twister's like might have been my first introduction to like Chicago. Twister, and I remember Common. Well, Twister before Common, I would say.
Yeah, Twister was out before Common. He was Mr. Tongue Twister back then.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Twister. Then, Psychodrama, the people that y'all pretty much heard of. But one thing about Chicago is it's just so diverse in music in itself, because each side of Chicago is like its own city. The South Side, produced Common, Kanye. Then we got the North Side. North Side is like Lupe Fiasco.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? More I don't know what you call it, but like Lupe Fiasco. And then West Side we had Psychodrama and the guys that did Hey, you know what I'm saying? Smoking on Hey. What's their name?
Crucial Conflict. Yeah. I didn't know they was from Chicago. Crucial Conflict. I remember that.
Yeah, they're from the West Side. I think they just actually dropped a new album altogether.
Yeah, I saw some. They got a new song out.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, I didn't know they was from Chicago. Okay.
Man, I would love to do a huge show, man. I would love to do a show, man, and get y'all down here.
I was just finna say that.
We should really try to put this together, Ray. I really would love to do that.
You hear that, V?
Yeah.
The living creation. We were just talking about it, like, V, we gotta pull up on them in the shot, man. Because I've never been, so I would love to come out there, man, and just talk my power to the people.
And that's what building and networking really about. You know what I mean? So why not?
And matter of fact, V, we need to come out there on the whole book shit. You know what I mean? Come out there with the book. That way, we not only is music, we empowering the people. You know what I mean? You can speak about the book, talk about the fatherhood, make fatherhood a bigger conversation. Yeah. Encourage the, you know what I mean? Make it. If we're gonna do political, let's make it political. Let's make it mean something.
It's actually an organization out here. I think it's called the Dovetail Project, but it's basically about young men and fatherhood. Like, they give them different resources in order for them to care for themselves and care for their children, and just put them in environments that help them grow into the fathers like they destined to be. They help them graduate, all type of stuff.
Dope,
yeah. So I wanted to get in contact to bring them on the show, and I hope I put that in rotation. But if I can, I think either both of y'all or Villa, you would definitely be somebody that should come in and talk your stuff to them for sure.
I'll be honest. I always like to build any opportunity because the riches and the jewels I have is only going to be in value that much unless I share them the way that God intended me to do. So it would be my honor and pleasure.
Yeah,
most definitely. Matter of fact, tell us about the book.
Man, I get excited because this is my first book, kid. But Fatherhood at 19, excuse me, no tutorial books. It's really just that first nugget to break the conversation about fatherhood. I speak about my experiences with my father, our journey, where our journey is at now, and my journey with my first son, which is Ja. I had my first son at 19, and when I see that experience change me for the ultimate better, it wasn't all a beautiful experience, and I share that in the book. So this is kind of like just something for the brothers, whether they're more young or whether they're old, that somebody going through what you're going through. Somebody know what it is that you just started that job. You just spent that bread getting to work. You don't have enough to get them diapers. You know what I mean? It's, as a dad, you could run to the street, but do you? Because getting locked up is going to take you away from the very human you just brought in the world, and it is your duty to protect. That is you. So that's what fatherhood is more or less talking about. And it allows me, like Smiz was saying earlier, for me to meet young men where they at, where they could see from example, like, yeah, I'm not a Poindexter, I'm an intelligent young man, but I know what it is to be in the concrete and make them tough decisions that you have to make. It's either you make them decisions or you evaporate or you die and you're not there to give your child or your children everything you didn't have. So that's what fatherhood at 19 is about, man.
Okay, love and love. It's already out, right?
Yeah, it's already out. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere where you go get your literature, man, is there. You can also go to fatherhoodat19.com and you can get a signed copy or get your book there as well.
Okay, do me a favor, post it in the private chat.
Oh, most definitely.
Get a chance so we can make sure we lock that in and get that out.
I love that. Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Smiz, man, you working, brother.
hey, yeah. And look, I got a book coming too that I came to my brother. I'm like,
yep, talk about it.
I got mine is called all the lines past the margin. And it's really just a collection of songs that I wrote from like that, just writing in notebooks. I had mad notebooks for over the years where I was just writing rhymes. And I'm like, yo, I want to turn into a book. You know what I mean? Like, just don't change nothing, whatever the writings was. And it's fascinating to see because not only did I have rhymes in there, but I was in school, in music school. So I have some of my lessons in there. I have my quizzes. I have my notes from when I was taking in my class. And I thought that was just another angle to put in the book. I thought it was something different. Not only am I showing you the music side, me writing my rhymes, but I'm going to also show you the educational side, the notes I was taking in class. So maybe you might get a jewel from that. And when I thought to do, I'm like, yo, I'm going to go to my brother because I know my brother was self-published. I know he did it on his own, so to speak. And I'm like, okay, so why not go to my brother like, yo, V, I got this book I'm trying to do, bro. What's the next step? What should I do? You know what I mean? What steps should I take? Or what would you recommend? You know what I mean? So it was like, yeah. Hopefully, well, the plan is to have it out this year. You know what I mean? God willing.
That's what's up. You're gonna get it out.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Now believe that. That's happening. Little good puppet nowhere. We don't play with ideas or intellectual property. So
and I think we all should write it. I'm listening to your stories. all of y'all stories sound fascinating. Like I would learn something and be entertained by your stories in a book. You know what I mean? Like a memoir of how you grew up and the things you went through to make it to where you at now. Because all our stories are original and unique and different. And we can all learn because we all go through the pitfalls, right? We all have to overcome something, adversity. And that's where we get the jewel from, right? Like the adversity. Because I can only imagine how you felt at 19 and having a son, like, damn, I'm still young myself. And now I got a whole nother life I gotta take care of, like, and figure it out. You feel me? And to be able to take care of myself, the woman, the child, when you still young.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Again, I don't think, like you said, the age point is really a factor because that responsibility, like when you hear somebody else stomach growling and the life you brought in, you know what I mean? You can't just eat that hero in front of your baby face. If you do, you a savage guy, but you know what I mean? Again, it's like you said, I think it's real big when you speak of my father, the morale part. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go through something. It's going to be a rough road. You know what I mean? But everything that's beautiful is on the other side of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, what you got, Ray?
Nothing. No. I just want to say, this was a very, very powerful conversation. Like, y'all need to consider making your own podcast and like traveling and doing it.
Man,
I'll let you take that one,
man. Bring it to Bump. We need some of that.
No, for sure.
Listen, we can join forces because we not. It's power in numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
And
I was actually just thinking that.
We actually used to do a morning show called the Morning Cook-Up Show. For how long we did it? 4 or 5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And we would play nothing but independent artists, but this is the type of conversations we would have. You know what I mean? V offer his. I love my brother because my brother always offer a different perspective than me. I'm a radical, so I'ma always come left field, say the wrong type of shit. To some people, like, damn, why? That's just me though. That's just my way of getting shit across because I hated people that fucking pussyfooted around. Like, be honest with me. Don't fucking, you know what I mean? Don't sugarcoat this shit for me because the world not gonna sugarcoat you.
Right. And don't get it twisted neither. I'm the opposite, but it ain't buttery. Just letting that know, but brother is right.
We talked about the podcast thing. I think for us, I think it's just the point of just sitting down and actually doing this shit. Because I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to get there and talk heavy. You know what I mean? I know not to curse, but I'm not gonna change my approach. I want to talk heavy. I'm heavy on the fashion, so how I'm gonna dress, I'm gonna attract the attention out the gate, and then I'm gonna have something to say, and what I say is gonna resonate with the people. And I want it to resonate because I want to help change your life. Sure. And if I can help change your life, then that means you can carry that jewel and help change somebody else's life, and now we saving people. And that's what they don't want us to do.
That same outlook, because I'm gonna have a couple maybe like 2 podcasts. But one of the main ones I really want to focus on is like talking about the worldly things that we see like on social media. Because everybody has been, I'm not gonna say everybody, but most of the population has been brainwashed into thinking certain things. So they can never change, like they can never fix their brain to think in a different way. And my whole thing is I've never been like, the reason why I stay out of so much trouble is because I never felt like I fit in with other people because I know I'm not ordinary, you know? So how I think is not like how everybody else is. So it's like seeing people talk about certain things on social media, it's like, why do y'all got to think like this, bro? And it's not a lot of podcasts that talks about the opposite of what the world thinks. And I'm not the type to sugarcoat nothing. So if I say something, I say it. And if you get offended by it, then that's not my problem. That's you because you're sensitive, you know? So, yeah, my hope, I'm be talking my stuff too because it's like, we got to do better, y'all. Not us, but, you know, the other people. For sure.
Yeah. It's definitely us when you look at it in totality, right? Because we only a small section of people with a small, our voices are loud, but it get muffled by entertainment and persuasion. And it's meant to be that way. And if you get too loud, you become a Tupac. You see what I'm saying? A Nipsey Hussle. They know how to get you out the way, and it's normally who? The people around you.
Right.
It's normally the people around you who dare to support you, but they low-key envious. I would never be envious. And correct me if I'm wrong, V. I don't think we've ever had an argument, a fight. Like, I'm not gonna fight and argue with I love my brother too much to say anything disrespectful or make you feel less than, to where now you have to question my integrity, because now we have an issue.
We don't practice that.
Now
in that is, like you said, is respected. You able to express, even if we don't see the same point, yours and as well as me, respectfully. And that's why I think people forget. Sometimes it's all right to be who you are, and your people's to be who they are, and allow that conduit to make that bond and everything stronger. You feel what I'm saying? Because you got to know your peoples. Let's let them know this brotherhood been cultivated over some time. You feel what I'm saying? So
yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Wow, we had 2 weeks worth of jewels. This is crazy.
I thank y'all for allowing. First, my brother came through and built the bridge, and y'all allowed me to walk over it.
Yes,
over the office through there. So I appreciate y'all for having me along.
And make sure you get them that music, V. If you ain't already, make sure you get P that music.
I got some audio doses for y'all. Y'all see that little bit thing back there. I got some audio clips too. You feel me?
Yeah.
Dope. Yeah, make sure you get it to us. Anything else, Ray?
No, that was it.
That's it. All right, man. I appreciate you, brothers, man, for blessing us today, man. And we're gonna do this again.
Yes.
It's only right. Power. It was a pleasure, man.
Yeah, 24 hours in the office. That's not a joke. Our office is always open, man. I'm telling you, we down for it all. Yeah, and yo, P, I definitely wanna. And again, I wanna bring my guy Bang on.
Okay,
my guy Bang on. Only because we from the same hood, but he can just give a different testament to what he sees from an industry standpoint, and then being somebody who he's just like us, as for conscious and aware and a family man, but he's also in the industry, and I think it's the building with us that like helps keep him grounded, because it's like, yo, we be on the phone all the time just building about life. And the one thing that gets me, man, he always apologize. Yo, I'm sorry for my kid. And like, no, nigga, kids is priority. Right. Fuck what we talking about. Take care of your. I love to hear the kids in the background. Fuck that. That's the reality of life. Like, you do it for your kids.
Right.
Yeah, so I would love to have Bang on just to share his experience and to talk, because he never gets to get on platforms and be able to talk this type of talk, because most times the hosts don't want to have these conversations, you know what I mean? Or they say, well, watch what you say because of how people may view it. So I appreciate the freedom just to be able to
Money King. Let's get a host around. Yeah. Let's do that,
man. Yeah. Salute. Right. Bump that.
I'm gonna go ahead and end this out, because if we let it go over, it's gonna mess up the recording.
Gotcha.
But I appreciate Don Villa Dome. My fault, brother. I'm gonna get it right. Smiz The MoneyKid.
Yes, sir.
Writer. This is the Culture Exchange. And again, y'all, so this was the Culture Exchange, a journey beyond borders where traditions collide and understanding blooms. We're diving deep into the beautiful, complex tapestry of global human experience, exploring how traditions travel, how perspectives shift, and how we truly begin to understand one another. This is the Culture Exchange, y'all. I really appreciate it. Holla back.
Yes, sir. No.